Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special edition of the Vibe Live. Yes, it's the last day of 2025, but nevertheless, a great day to kick in some motivation. Today, the Vibe Women Inspire, Build, and Enhance, the platform dedicated to fostering women's excellence, is truly excited. It brings together women doctors from diverse specialties to share knowledge, leadership experiences, and personal journeys that inspire growth and collaboration. The fundamental pillars that form the vibe are physical well being, mental health, financial wisdom, and professional excellence. Through various initiatives, the vibe strives to build together a strong community of women professionals who uplift one another and redefine the landscape of healthcare leadership. I'm Dr. Ritu Johari, consultant diabetologist and metabolic expert practicing in Kandivali, Borivali, and Malad, the western suburbs of Mumbai. I'm privileged to have a unique background with decade and a half spent in the pharma industry and now since last half a decade on the clinical side, treating diabetes, thyroid, and obesity. Besides our two clinics, I also enjoy working on my past learnings along with the pharma era as a co-founder of RFEC, which is a medical marketing agency. But what truly brings me the most excitement and pleasure in sharing is the introduction of this exclusive initiative, The Vibe. As founder of a one of its kind platform that targets fostering women's excellence. With that, let me introduce you to our team, Vibe. Kavita.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. It's so exciting to be here on the last day of this year 2025. I'm Dr. Kavita Rane. I am a practicing diabetologist for the past 15 years in Chembur at Apollo Spectra Hospital, and in Lux General Charitable Hospital. I love to draw paint. I love sketching. I love visiting art galleries, and I love communicating with all of y'all through this Vibe Live. Over to you, Dr. Latika.
Hello, I'm so excited to be part of this Vibe initiative and also welcome our guest today for this new episode of Vibe Live, the last of this year. I am a diabetologist and a lifestyle medicine physician practicing in Colaba for the last 3 decades, visiting faculty at JJ Group of Hospitals and Grand Government Medical College. Besides that, I'm a mother to an artist and an entrepreneur, and a partner to the sugar doctor. That is my husband because that's what he's more popularly known as, and that's our brand also. But besides that, I thoroughly enjoy traveling, cooking, and a whole lot of things. But what gives me maximum happiness is to the glow on a person face when they come back with the blood sugars and other metabolic parameters within normal limits, and it just kind of makes me feel very happy about that. So now I hand over to Dr. Rukaiya for her introduction.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon and welcome here today on Vibe. And I am Dr. Rukia Surya Sheikh. I'm a diabetes, thyroid, and obesity specialist. I've been practicing in Mulund at my clinic, Blue Circle Clinic, for a decade and a half. And in these years, I've realized that, managing sugar levels have been often simpler than managing life levels. But when you don't see me in clinic, you will usually find me working out, playing a round of carom, and enjoying good company and great conversations, which bring joy and laughter. And lately, I have started painting. That's my way of adding little color and calm to the chaos of daily life. And I'm really excited to be here today among these inspiring women in medicine to learn, to share, and to grow together. Over to you, Dr. Pranjali.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Anita, and wishing you all in advance a very happy and new year and a prosperous new year. So, I'm Dr. Pranjali Shah, Director and Chief Diabetologist at Diabetes Clinic. It's in Mulund, and Director of Internal Operations, Eye Heal. It's an eye specialty hospital. So, I love treating young diabetic patients and help them live longer and stronger life. But Apart from my clinic hours, you will find me traveling, you will find me hiking, doing farming, playing with my pets, and exploring life apart from your daily clinic routine and connecting with new people. So thank you so much, and over to you, Dr. Kavita.
Patients can never be complete without a diagnostic workup. And today, we bring to you a leader who has traversed diverse paths, exemplifying risk taking plus hard work as the road to success. A hexalog with Dr. Anita Suryanarayan, pathologist, innovator, operations expert, and mentor, a true leader. An honor to have you, Dr. Anita, with us, an exemplary woman, a warm and wonderful persona, a constant source of motivation, the best role model for women in today's era. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the Vibe Hexalog. Just a quick question. How did you feel when you were invited for the Vibe?
Madam, you'll have to
Yeah.
unmute
Can
Yeah,
yourself.
yours
yeah, I
is
did. I
mute.
did. Yeah, I did. So I was very excited. I did not know what vibe was, but it was Kavita on the other line. And when she says something, you feel very motivated to whatever it is. Unfortunately, that week, I think I was busy or traveling or something. I can't remember, but I couldn't do it then. And so she promptly came back and said, "Would you do 31st?" And then I said, 31st, end of the year. But okay. So I was quite excited at the idea of the thing. Then I looked it up also, and I saw the other program which you have streamed online. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you girls are doing. And, we need motivation in our life today and all the time. And also, women need to be motivated more and more, and they need to know that everybody has gone through the problem which we all face. It's a daily thing. So, we have all gone through these things. And if we can share, the burden becomes much less. It's like that. So, I was truly excited, and I congratulate you all and wish you all the best success in this venture and many other ventures which you would do, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, a quick opportunity to introduce ma'am. Dr. Rita ma'am is a senior pathologist with almost 35 plus years of experience in immunohematology, blood banking, cytology, histopathology, and quality assurance. She has held leadership roles, including the head of operations and vice president at Metropolis Healthcare, overseeing the lab operations and quality across South India as well as Sri Lanka. Dr. Suryanarayan combines strong clinical expertise with proven strengths in administration, academics, and healthcare leadership. So, truly excited to hear from you. And now, may I pass the baton to Kavita for the first segment?
This is so
Scary
cool
going.
having you here today. And it
Yeah.
is so much fun. So let's move on to the first segment. This is about journey from stethoscope to microscope. So, this segment intends to revisit the journey of Dr. Anita. So, medicine was contemporarily looked upon as a patient-facing profession, facing the patient. So, how did your choice of pathology stem up? Like any incidents from childhood that you recollect and would want to share with us that may have helped you maneuver towards your career choice?
Well, to start with, medicine was not my first choice, honestly. I never wanted to do medicine. I would have loved to do architecture or history or anything but medicine. But my father, and we were good children, in those days. So my father said, nothing doing, you have to be a doctor. So, okay, I got the marks, I got the thing, and I got into medical. When I was doing internship, because medical, in those days we used to have family physicians coming home. There was not that much of going to the lab or the hospital. Family physician would come home. I remember having typhoid, and he said, I don't know now whether it was typhoid, but he came and he examined. He said, "There's some gas on this side, that side, and you have typhoid." Gave me some antibiotics, became okay. To date, I don't know whether it was typhoid or not because there was no blood test done. In that much, I was thinking, how does he know? What a great man he is, yeah. He just look at you and say, "You've got typhoid." So, and it went on from there to many other things. So then when I was doing my internship, or maybe it was second MBBS, when you get to be thrown into clinical practice, you go start visiting wards. And that's when I saw all these patients. And there was one gentleman who would insist that I should give him his subcute insulin. I only must give him. He was in Dr. Kokhani's unit. And I used to feel like early in the morning I have to go around giving injections. No way, clinical practice out. Can't do. But in second MBBS, when you go through MBBS also, I mean, when you do pathology also, now that was something fascinating. I can take a tissue, I can put it on the slide, I can look at it, and I can give you what it is, while you guys are still fumbling for whatever it may be, And from that time, I think it was only pathology that I was interested in. The colors under the microscope are fascinating. They are truly fascinating.
Yeah.
And what you can pick up from under the microscope is another very fascinating thing. So, yeah, that was the reason why I took up pathology. Sub specialties like ours, para, whatever they would call it, were not so much in vogue in those days. In my class, for example, radiology went for a song. Nobody took radiology. And can you imagine that happening now?
Oh,
So yeah, nobody just
it's
went.
the first choice.
And
Now
it was never
it's
the
the
first
first
choice
choice,
for anybody.
radiology.
Yeah. So for me, it was always pathology and nothing else, just because of the colors.
Right, right. So you transitioned from hands-on pathology to large-scale healthcare leadership. What shaped that journey the most?
So we did do lab hands-on, as you say, because when you start practice, you have to work everything on, and you have technical staff whom you need to train on. You start looking at the microscope and things. So I used to work in small in nursing homes. I wouldn't call them small because they had a good load of patients. But then I did find this laboratory. See, one drawback which many of us face, maybe this NEET doesn't face, is that I graduated from Mumbai. Having cleared from Bombay, I was familiar with Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, English, and everything. But you come to Tamil Nadu and you don't know a word of Tamil. So, how do you communicate with people who
Right.
only speak Tamil? So, that was one of the biggest challenges I think everybody faces. And the other part was having graduated from Mumbai, I knew all my people at my level, my peer level, senior level, junior level. But here, having not graduated from the colleges in Chennai and Madras in those days, I didn't know a soul. I just didn't know anyone. So it was just left to me to find. One fine day, I heard about a blood bank which was looking for somebody. So I started as a teaching and a physiology and pathology in a dental college. Now it's one of the biggest dental colleges, but at that time it was quite a distance. And from there on, someone found me and said, "Would you like to work in a lab?" I said, "Okay." So from there on, it came to a blood bank. And the blood bank was looking for a blood bank officer. So it was near the house. I said, "Okay." And then it so happened that that blood bank had also got a lab next to it with the same founder people. So I joined what was Lister Lab in those days. And it just progressed from there on. And maybe you were at the right place at the right time. So that is what also helps. And Lister became Metropolis Healthcare. It was acquired by Metropolis. And then as you want to grow, nobody acquires a lab only to make it whatever it is. The idea is always to expand and to reach out to areas. So the city is also growing. The lab automatically has to grow. Travel becomes difficult. It's not easy for everyone to travel and come. So your centers start building up. With centers, you hire more people. You hire more people, you hire more equipment. When you hire more, so it's just a stage wise growing. It was like when I first joined and the lab was a big size. My chairman just told me that, Anita, you just have to think whatever you were doing with 5 technicians, you're going to do with 50. Same thing. What's the difference? And so that is how that journey has been. Very exciting as you keep adding
Amazing.
more and more topics,
Yeah.
more and more skills to it. You keep on learning on it. And
Yeah.
it's just, I think, right place at the right time, right moment, and take the opportunity. Never say no. I've never learned to say no. And sometimes I kick myself because I haven't said no, I can't do it. So never say no. You can always do it. There's always a way out.
I love what you just said. Never say no. And I love the way that you even mentioned every work that you had was close to your house. So it was closer to travel to, as well as you could focus on your, private life, your home life as well. So it's amazing. And thank you so much for that. And moving on to the next segment, which is by Dr. Pranjali.
My travel buddy.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Kavita. So, ma'am, next segment will be focusing mainly upon the quality controls and the building upon the quality strategies. So now we know there are multiple online labs, there are multiple big lab setups, chains are increasing. So standardization is the main thing, it's the main issue. So how do you set the quality checks and quality control? Definitely this is helpful for the patients for the convenience because it is easily available, but how are you going to set the quality checks? What will be your inputs, ma'am?
So I would first worry, and it is what everybody worries. We don't worry about the analytical checks much at all because the equipment we are using is highly professional. They're highly qualified from big instrument companies, and there's a lot of automation. Though you do need to run quality control in it, and you need to have them, but once they're fixed, they're checked for all the quality norms. They're okay. What you really have to worry about is the pre-analytics. Pre-analytics makes the maximum number of errors which can happen from any lab whatsoever. And to a certain extent, post was not too much. Your pre-analytics are 75%. You've got that right, you've totally got it right. And when you say pre-analytics, it is the selection of the patient, the type of patient, the timing of your sample. Now, you all being in the professional and knowing, lifestyle, you know that if I have to collect a sample of blood sugar for fasting, the timing is so important because he has to be fasting and the patient has to understand that.
Yeah.
And when you are going to do a postprandial, again, the timing is very important. Nothing should be taken in between. But apart from that, we do know that this is going to be a transport time. The transport time and the logistics, how you transport the specimen, is also very important because if you have not collected in the correct tube, you can get glycolysis and 2% it will fall down all the time when you do it. So you get an abnormal reading, which is bad for the patient. I mean, we are not doing any justice to the sample. So processing also has to be time. So from the time you collect the sample, your pre-analytic, to the time it is labeled correctly. If it is not labeled correctly, and a barcode, now we have a barcode system, but there's nothing to say that the barcode cannot go wrong. So there has to be some kind of thing. You have to look at any error which can happen at any stage. We use fluoride tubes, but there are people who still insist on using other tubes which are not great. But even the tubes which you're using have to pass quality checks. They have to have, we run all and see that they are doing, they're giving the correct sample 10, 20 times to see there's a lot of quality work which goes into it. So these are the things which we'll do. There's one incident we have when we were collecting, in those days we used to collect 2 hours PP and all that. The patient went off and came back. When he came back, they just as a courtesy, we asked the patient, the technician asked, that I hope you had nothing to eat. He said, no, 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 I had my breakfast 2 hours back. I've not eaten anything. Then his wife said, but you had that watermelon juice outside. And he said, yeah, but they never told me not to drink anything.
Yes.
So we said, God, you know, I mean, watermelon
Couple of
juice just
times we
now.
see a lot of patients, like
Yeah.
we also see in clinical practice, look, they've been informed that you have proper full meal during your breakfast to check the sugars also. So, ma'am, another thing I would like to ask, like, whatever you're telling right now, these are all mainly for the doctors, but as when we are selecting any lab, or so what all things we should see? Suppose if we are checking any lab online, or we are selecting a lab for our patients if they are doing certain blood tests from any lab. So what we should consider when we are selecting any lab?
So one would be looking for the reputation. Second, you would be looking for the NABL requirement, and the ISO certification. All labs today by the government are they're insisting on doing NABL certification, which is the ISO 15189, now the 2022 version. So whether it's a small lab, whether it's a medium-sized lab or anything, but they have norms for all the labs now. So that certification or that what you would say registration would be very, very important. Labs have to have a Clinical Establishment Act that they are supposed to display it. Whether you're looking it on the website, so you can easily find out all these things. But when a patient comes to the lab, we have to display this even in the collection centers. So these are some of the things, and of course you can go by the ratings and all that. But since the certification is available for all sites, and the government of India is insisting that the certification should be there, otherwise they will close it. And most, in Mumbai and all, they are very particular. And an NABL certified lab, if you have ISO, if you have IEC, if you have higher ones than that also, APLAC and all those certifications, then there is somebody who's audited it. Somebody who's gone through the process from beginning to the end, and to see that everybody is following the norms, even to the person who is signing the report. So all these have been checked. The quality of the person who is signing the report has also been checked, because we go through rigorous training, and we also go through a proper question answer sequelae which goes when the lab is being audited by professionals. So if they certify you are good to authorize all this, then you're good. So from that onward, they even certify the technician. A lot of emphasis is going on training and experience of the technical staff also, and how good they are. So at every bit they will be examining. That's how you get the certification. So I would suggest that everyone should look for the certification, should look for the this clinical establishment and other acts, and there are various other things for HR and all which should be there. But most important would be the certification. That would give you that sense. Yeah.
We can guide our patients also, because a lot of patients are coming, they'll get entire blood test done every third month because they're getting a 200, 300 rupees thing. So we can tell them when you're selecting a lab, what all things you can see.
Yeah, it's not that 200, 300 is not okay, because, we work on volumes. You would understand that we work on volumes because the machines which we use are high throughput machines. High throughput means the more the quality, more the amount of samples you give in, the better it works. So if you have a machine which is capable of running out 2,000 tests in a day, and we are only using it as 100, it's a waste of equipment. There you will find people cutting corners. They will not run quality control. They will not run all those things. So that has to be the thing. But giving up to 500, 900, if they are doing, as long as they see the certification, I think that should be fine.
The reports, if the certification is there, then we can rely on the reports.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And we are also supposed to display, the doctor is also now supposed to display the registration number as well as the designation. So that also they need to check now, because that's part of the certification.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your input. Over to Dr. Rukia for next segment.
Ma'am, it has been wonderful, that what has come out clearly from the segment, what I felt was, is that, okay, yes, the quality is very important in terms of accreditation, the machines that you use, the SOPs that you're creating. But, this culture about teaching your technician, the culture about understanding the timings when the patient, the blood test has been done, like you said, the timing of collection is also very important. This accountability and this everyday choices which the labs make is actually making a big difference about the report, which comes out, and that helps us in giving decisions for the patients. So, ma'am, my next segment is about the pathology and future of it. And we know that as we strengthen quality and safety in the laboratories today, it naturally leads us to the next question: is how is pathology itself evolving from when you passed to now today? We know that we are surrounded with more and more technology which is advanced, with automation which is there. The education, it is defining not just how we work, but also who we need to become as pathologists. So the first kind of technology is also getting very important. And for this, first question to you would be that you've led this large diagnostic systems like Metropolis Healthcare. And when you look ahead 10 years, what excites you most? What concerns you also, especially about how technology and automation will shape policy?
So, what I would say about automation and technology, you have to have a trained person at the background, and that is myself. Because today, if I want to do a presentation, I will just ask this AI person, I want to do a presentation on XYZ, and 10, 20 slides will be ready in one go. I know that there are people
Right,
who are not even reading them, they're just presenting them. But if you do not know the content, then how are you going to do anything which will train anyone and show what you are? So the people behind it is very important. The equipment, it's like a computer system, garbage in, garbage out. If you do not process what is going in properly, and if you do not have a correct processor at one side, you will only get rubbish which will come outside. And today we are relying on so
right,
many technologies. See, we have worked, ours is an area which we have worked from test tubes. From test tubes where we used to collect samples to, the spectrophotometer to automation. It is work from one line
right.
where you used to collect the blood in a syringe. Now we have these, these, what are they called now? The syringes which automatically they pick up the amount of volume
Yes.
and they transfer it. You don't do anything. You just have to, you don't even
Mm,
have to measure 2 ml because it is marked there and it will only suck in, the vacuum tubes which we use. We don't even have to see that we have to put this powder in. You don't have to because they have already come with the amount of anticoagulant required or not required. So all this is done. We have a sorter. A sorter will sort it out into different tubes and into different areas and put into different machines, all that. But there has to be somebody who is monitoring. I cannot have a blood
mm,
sample which I'm doing for a serum in a EDTA tube. It won't work. That's not blood, that's plasma. So that is, as
mm,
we are going more and more specialized, we are going into
mm.
molecules, we are going into DNAs, we are going into HLAs, we are going into chromosomal analysis. The training has to go side by side. I cannot
Right.
become a genetics expert today because I don't know. I know only this much. How can I know
Mm,
beyond that? So I have to get the training done. I may have the
right.
theoretical thing in my mind, but I don't know what the machine
Mm,
looks like. So how do I do it?
right.
So the training
Right.
behind it, the learning behind it, the enthusiasm behind it, and the person behind it is the most important
Yes.
thing I feel. People are looking at automation. When we brought in automated machines, so one of the technicians came to me and said, "Ma'am, now we will lose jobs." I said, "Why? Why will you lose jobs? You will not. You need to get
Yes.
trained more. You do not." See, automation gives people the fear that we are going to lose jobs. No, equipment cannot
Right.
take the place of a correct person, not at all. And that
Mm,
is where the training requires. So as we are going into molecules, we are going to DNAs, we are going into HLAs, we are going to chromosomes, we are going into everything. Even we are using automation to read into slides. But the last slide has to be read by a qualified person. So that is where it all ends. I can do, we may use AI technology to even diagnose normal slides. Normal is not what we
mm,
are worrying about. What we are worrying
right.
about is the abnormal. So
Mm,
that is where it ends. So it
yeah.
frightens me to a certain extent. Um,
Right.
but you do look forward to it because there will be a time in which we will reach. See, it's pathetic that in our country, the smallest third tier city doesn't have
Mm,
that kind of medical network which is available in a second and a first tier city, main
I
city. It doesn't
agree.
have. And so,
Yes.
how do we bring them? I can give you an example, and I'm talking a lot if it's okay with you guys. But I can give you the example of Shankar Netralaya. It's a big, I think,
Eye
everyone heard of
Institute.
it. So what they told me was, majority of people here in India is because of eyesight. They're not able to read
Mm,
because they have eyesight issues. If you talk to a person in the third tier village for getting his eyes
mm,
checked and getting specs, he says, I have to spend that much time. Spectacles don't cost much, but I have to spend
mm,
time. I have to spend money on my travel, stay to
mm,
get my eyes checked and then come back. So instead of that,
mm,
what they have done, they have created a mobile unit which goes into the free tire. They measure it. The glasses which come out may not be that finest quality, but they can read. They get their eyes checked up. We are able to take care of blindness and all these things, So this is, we have to take it to the common man. Then only can we be satisfied. So that is what I'm looking forward to.
Yes. So, ma'am, my husband is an oncologist. So it's a lot of times, he has to get a second opinion done from a pathologist who he trusts to say that it is normal. A lot of times, to tell the patient that this is normal and not abnormal is more of a challenge than, saying that it is abnormal. So yes, the AI is sometimes over-diagnosing, but we need the expert behind to tell you that this is the right thing. So I think the trained eyes is what, the training is always most important. The clinical judgment is extremely important. So ma'am, we also know your passion for academics is evident with the MILES program, which is Metropolis Institute of Learning, Education and Skilling. And what gap did you felt that you need to be filled, and what kind of pathologist do you hope that this platform will create? What is your vision for this program?
So incidentally, this program is not only for pathologists, it is also for lab technologists, So there are people who are good technologists, but they do not have the qualified degree or the BSc or the post certification. So we launched these programs with the idea of creating technical skill and pathology skill, which people are they're able to understand and they get trained in learning. Books learning is out of the thing. You cannot say that there is a syllabus for pathology or a syllabus for diabetology. What is a syllabus? It doesn't make any sense at all. You have to go way beyond it. Our subjects don't have a syllabus. No subject has a syllabus. So when they have worked in the syllabus and got that degree, that's not enough. They need to get trained in certain. A pathologist, for example, basic general pathology covers everything, but you do not cover genetics. You do not cover chromosomes. You do not cover immunohematology. How do I know I'm going to like immunohematology? I might have liked it as a postgraduate when I finished my MD. But once you throw me into it, I am not bothered about which group is what group and minor and this and that. I don't want to learn all these things. I want to see cytology, but I can't back out, no? So we created these with the idea that the pathologist post qualifying or even during his her PG training will look into it and decide, is this the field I want? Is this the experience I want? And after the lectures and the training which we give them, they also have to work about 1 week or 2 weeks in a laboratory, which is nearest their thing. So they get the exposure of the, you get the exposure at workplace, what we call it at the desktop or the workplace. That exposure. We also ask them to do a little bit of a dissertation or a little bit of a paper research into it. So you know fully that I am interested in this or I am not. It's 3 months. 3 months is nothing much when you compare to 2 years. So you get exposed to it and then you get understood that, yes, this is what I want. And you have been trained at the lab with the best of equipments. You can decide you can take it or you can just work on it. Similarly, for technicians, we have a lot of these DMLT and these PG DMLT programs and all. But one person coming out of there, the problem is, the government certification, they will give private gets certain, they just get their certificates from the private institutes. They're really not trained. They don't know anything. You will not believe that we appointed a pathologist, and when she from a private institute here, it's a private certification, and when she joined the lab, I just asked her, "Can you see the smear?" And she said, "What's a smear?" And I'm looking at her, she's asking me, "What's a smear?" I said, "But blood smear. I want the differential." She said, "I've never done a differential." I said, "How have you got your degree?" "No, I got the degree." So that gave us such a shock that this girl, I have to train her from scratch. I don't have the time. And I can't train somebody who doesn't even know what a basophil looks like. How are you going to train her further? So that's when we decided that this is not it. We have to have, we need to impart it outside our levels. so that people do know, whom they are talking to and what they are seeing.
Right.
So
I
that
think,
was the
ma'am, it is
basis.
bridging the gap between, so not all colleges are training everyone at a particular level. So, this kind of a program lifts you up and, tries to bridge the gap that, okay, this you've not done proper. These are the other things you have to be probably exposed to, which might be of your interest later, and you can take that up,
Right,
if you want
right.
to get into genetics or cyto or immuno. So, that's a great exposure. So, ma'am, this is
Absolutely.
about technical excellence. In your experience, what should you start cultivating early if you want to become Dr. Anita Suryanarayan, if you want to grow as a leader, the innovator, and the system builder, and not just being a report writer?
One line only, never say no.
Oh,
Chances
nice.
will come your way. Take all your chances. It doesn't matter.
So, ma'am,
Don't think twice.
yeah.
How will I manage my house and my children and my this and that? All will fall into place. There's always a way of doing everything. Never say no. Accept whatever comes. It will come
Great.
your
So,
way.
ma'am, what do you wish someone had told you this earlier in your journey? Something that was told to you which you learned.
No, I think I got everything at the correct time. The only thing is, what I feel
Yeah.
is that now we are able to do a lot of a thing online and all post COVID, and we have a lot of virtual workshops and thing goes. In those days, since our head office was in Mumbai, so for bigger roles, they used to consider people only in Mumbai. Now it is not so. So if this had come a little earlier, then maybe anything. So that's the
Right.
only thing. But otherwise, I think it's quite okay. I'm quite comfortable where I am now.
Fantastic, ma'am. It has been such a pleasure to, have this conversation with you and never say no. I would take Dr. Lotika to take the next segment. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's really very insightful speaking to you and hearing you, madam. And so we shift gears to the next segment, which is women in medicine and mentorship. You stand as a great inspiration across to women across the map, from academics to leadership to mentorship. This segment explores the woman part of this journey. While we have come a long way, gender bias still is real and it does exist.
Yeah.
What challenges did you feel as a woman in senior healthcare leadership? And how did you balance the maternal and professional roles?
So, Metropolis Healthcare, when I joined it, was headed by Samira Shah. So she was facing more of the brunt than we were facing. And because she was our head, she was the chairman. I mean, she was the MD at that time. Now she's a chairman. And because she was the MD, I think we had it easier. So we did have April, but it's like her experience. And every time she would tell us, I walk into a boardroom full of guys, and they all look at me and say, "This young girl, she's going to be the one who will dictate to us." I said, "Why? You prove yourself by your work. You don't prove yourself by your gender. You prove yourself by your work. You prove yourself by your punctuality. If you are going to be there on time, and if you're going to start a minute." 10 minutes before you should be there. This was a culture which was imprinted and which I tell all my people, be there in time. When you're there in time, take that 5-10 minutes to chill out. Think that I'm going to start this and this is what I'm going to do. Lock your brain out. Then you concentrate till you leave. 5 minutes before you leave, close everything and do not take any queries. That is done as it is done. But of course, queries do come, so we can't work that way anymore. So, you do feel gaps, but I think your work should stand still. No one can look at you and say that, oh, she's only a woman. What does she know about maths and all? What does she know about finance? What does she know about accounts? Your work speaks for you. And there will be people
that
who
is
will
true.
admire the work which you do and admire the input which you give in because they will appreciate. It'll come over a period of time, but will come. Have the patience. Take it as it comes. Be at your best all the time. Which doesn't mean that you have to be fancily dressed and things. You just have to be normal. Be punctual. Be regular. Of course, maternally, we are not able to be that regular. It does happen because, you are in charge. But I think as far as you girls are concerned, things are now equating out quite well. It was tough when we were there, but Not so tough now. I think equations are working out. So, yeah, I mean, it is, you can manage your work life and your family life now quite easily because there's even the option of work from home. We even created
Yes,
your
that's
workplace is a good workplace. So I think there is something called as, where you can measure what is it? See the workplace. Is it this, when you're joining something, it's called I'm not able to remember that. So it lets you know what all the features are available. Do you have, do they take this into account? Do they take, do they have a crash? Do they have things like that? And many of them do come out with that. So I think people are understanding now. And today we need a workforce, a good trained workforce. So, uh, we used to have,
yes.
technicians who would never go into for home care, go into a male household. They would feel, no, I can't send another technician along with her. So in two-wheelers, see, today you have even delivery persons coming on two-wheelers, whether it's Blinkit or Zomato or Swiggy, they come and deliver. So I think the outlook is changing. And I think in India, we have been more fortunate. Whatever anybody else may say, we do have a backup system also existing. So
Yes,
it
that's right.
can be managed.
So women usually have a strong inborn virtue, especially high emotional intelligence. How do you see women healthcare professionals mentor the younger generation of doctors?
Well, what we have advised in our workplace, and you'll find the guys use it more than the girls, is one area in which everybody can just go and chill. Today, I'm very worked up. I'm really emotionally worked up, and I'm very angry with someone. You go and sit in that place for 5 minutes, just chill, and you will find back. Do not answer anything immediately. We are emotional. I would tell everybody, do not reply instantly. If something has come to you which has upset you, just be quiet for that much time. 12 hours you take. We never answer emails in that frame of mind. Answer it one day later. Nothing will go wrong. Say thank you and just leave it. Answer it one day long. WhatsApp messages, do not let them bug you. Don't answer. Put it aside. Listen to some music. Listen to a calm. You know that square thing which they are breathing, which people have been doing in yoga. You take in,
The
you
box
hold, you take
breathing.
box. Hmm?
The
You
box
do that,
breathing,
and
yeah.
that is truly very helpful. Listen to some music, close your eyes, think of somewhere else where you'd like to be, and you come back. So this is what I would really don't get worked up if a patient, when patients used to call and they want clarification on reports and they'll be shouting at you and screaming, and you feel like, what the hell am I? I do get technicians and doctors also coming to me and telling me that the doctor, that patient was shouting, not my mistake. I had to listen to all this yelling the whole day long. Leave it. He's venting. Let him vent. Once you've listened patiently and he's vented, he's fine and so are you. So don't do
Yeah,
anything
that's so
instantly. Do
true.
not be
20 or 30 or 50, would that be enough to say that yes, you should put a so see a lot of doctors, ma'am, also put up their own labs or they have a collection center in their own labs. So would you say that there should be a specific number at which you should suggest that yes, you can have a collection center, or otherwise one should not
That
consider?
will leave to the lab chain which is involved. That will
Okay.
truly leave it to the lab chain which is involved, and they will let you know what is their basic requirement, minimum requirement.
Okay.
They were also pushing their own people who are there, So we would have, like, if you are having a clinic in, where is
Mulund.
your clinic? Mulund.
Mulund.
Then I may be having some doctors who are there in Mulund. You may be knowing some people there who would use it as a collection center instead of walking to the nearest one.
Right.
So they would come and give the samples, then you would send it to the lab for processing. See, earlier on, we used to have only one central lab. Today, we don't have only one central lab. We have labs in various places because this transport is becoming a big thing and it's playing havoc with the results. We used to have
Yes.
only one global reference lab, which was in Mumbai. But now we have regional labs who are also doing half the work. Because suddenly Indigo decides to go on strike. What will you do with your samples? I mean, you
Right.
can't just keep it there and you can't send by train, no? So then you
Right.
get totally scrubbed. So you have to have regional labs which can take over the load in case the global lab is not able to handle it. Hmm?
Right.
So it's a system which works. It works very well. It's not an issue. And it's
Um,
not the quantity of samples which is more, it's just the understanding is more important.
Okay. So, ma'am, as a doctor, what do I look at to understand that, okay, this is a true report or, this needs a repeat collection? The patient only wants to have a repeat collection because they don't trust अरे इतना ज़्यादा sugar मेरा हो ही नहीं सकता है or my HbA1c cannot be so high. So they want to have a repeat. But probably as a doctor, when I'm seeing, and I know it has come from a decent lab, is it just the accreditations of the lab suffice for me to say that okay,
No, you
it
can
can't go
always
wrong?
approach. Not at all. You can always go back. See, the most important thing and a lot of emphasis is being laid on the handling of your complaints. I have the right to complain. I feel my glucose could not have been this. It has gone way by. My HbA1c is not like this. So, one thing which we all give you is we should be giving you is your what we call as a data chart. So, I came and did it in 3 months back. This was my level. I should be able to give you that report. You can follow how the reports have been going. If I am a
Metropolis is
person
giving
who
us
is
that.
doing that, in my lab, we are doing that, and we suddenly see that the sugar has gone haywire or it's gone very low, I have to give you that feedback to the doctor that look, there's something wrong.
Right.
Either they have not collected or something has not been there. But this complaint redressal is very important. You should be
Right.
able to complain or tell somebody that, look, I would like a recheck, and they would do a recheck for you. They should. That is the quality of a good lab. And
So,
come
ma'am,
back to you.
often the local labs that we have, we get a call from them or we are able to go to them. They're telling, can you recheck on the sample? But it's very difficult for me to go to a chain of lab. So if I want to go get a recheck FSH done or a recheck prolactin done by a Metropolis, how would I go about with that? So just go back to the collection center and tell them,
Yeah, just go back. You have your ID number. That's a unique number. You could
right,
go with the sample ID number, which is there. They will ask
right,
you for the sample ID, and then that sample is traced right from the time it has been collected to the time it has reached the lab to the quality control at that point on that day. Because every day we are supposed to run an internal quality check. So if the values are going up or too low, I am supposed to recalibrate it and run it again. We do have an external quality assessment scheme. Once a month, sample comes from another lab. So these all things are there in check, and you have the right to demand for it also. You can ask for it, they will give it to you, and you could check and see whether everything is in order. Then we'll assume. I'm sure you know that glucose one reading is not enough. You'll do 3 readings also.
yes,
So yeah, these and you can expect sometimes things will not always work out the way you want it to work out.
right.
They do have errors, but we take analytical complaints very seriously. It is a black mark against any one of our labs if we get an analytical complaint. That will not do. You
Right.
can have pre-analytics, you can have anything, but an analytical complaint, your machine giving a wrong reading, is not acceptable at all. So it has to enter very deeply and look at it very thoroughly before saying that no, everything was right our end. Hmm? That's why we have stopped calling it reference in range now. There is nothing like a reference range. It is a biological reference interval. BRI as we measure. You will have seen that in the reports. We don't say reference range
Yes.
because everybody's body is variable. It varies from this time to that time. It varies. The hormone levels vary from morning to afternoon to evening. There's not a standard range for anything. So that is why it has been now called as a BRI, biological reference interval. I hope that answers your question.
Ma'am, it has been so insightful to actually, have these conversations with you because we don't get these answers. So recently, I just saw a prolactin report and I just asked for a serum prolactin. But what I got was 3 types of prolactin levels which were given to me. And I was actually reading the report that, okay, what exactly then is the prolactin level? What am I supposed to do? So I think, this BIR has also been a new thing for us to know, which up till now we've always been, just seeing the reference range, but BIR is a new concept which has been
No,
introduced.
it's a new. It's a very old term concept. No, old in the sense more than 5 years now.
Ma'am, but this is, it is still with with Metropolis and a bigger labs, but not at, it has not penetrated to all labs.
So that is where the training has to go down to those
Yes.
labs also,
Yes.
And if you are on good terms with the person who is there, you could tell them also. There's nothing wrong in learning something new. We have
Absolutely.
learned a lot of things which are new. For
Yes.
example, I'll tell you, we had a young fellow. He was 22 years old. This is the first thing which I remember. His father was a, DMK rules the roast in Chennai. So he came for a pre-employment checkup. His glucose was 560. And we went into shock. We run it again because if it is outside the range, we have a range in which we have a recheck policy. We have to recheck those samples. And he refused. He said, I'll call the police. I'll put you in jail. I'll do everything. So your son's life is at stake here. At 22 with a sugar or glucose of 560, you want to put us in jail. We'll go. What about him? So, these things are things which people don't understand or accept, but this has to be explained to them. So many times you will have to explain, and I think you should always be able to reach out to the pathologist. No lab is good if you're not able to reach out to the pathologist. The person who has signed the report is the person who's taking responsibility for whatever has gone on that paper.
Okay.
And that person has the right to, you have the right to ask that person, I want this clarified, till you are satisfied. So please feel free to reach back to, yeah? Please feel
Thank
free
you,
to reach.
ma'am. It has been so insightful again. Yes, I will. Ma'am, now over to Dr. Ritu for our last segment for today.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Rukia. So we're going to change gears, ma'am, and we are going to put you into the rapid fire segment now. You have been like a live wire already, so I'm only wondering what rapid fire is going to be like. But yes, just let's, this is going to be a few quick answers. So whatever comes to your mind, it has to be instinctive and quite honest. So I'm going to shoot now. One word your colleagues would use to describe you.
Reliable.
Okay, great. One value you never compromise on.
Quality.
Lovely. Early mornings or late nights? What is your prime time?
When I was working, it was late nights. When I was working full time. But now I'm tending to early mornings because I find early mornings are the best time of the day.
Lovely. Absolutely adaptive. Your favorite person, Anita the mother or Anita the career woman?
Now that's difficult. You ask my daughters, I don't know what they'll say. So, in between, is that okay?
That's lovely. Actually, that's lovely because that brings exactly the essence of a woman, like, and what you directly said, that don't dare to not dream. You can do everything. It's not necessary that there are things that stop you. Next question. What energizes you the most, people or purpose?
People.
You can choose only one.
People.
Lovely. Okay. One word that brings you calm outside of work.
Music, travel. If I can choose
Lovely.
more than that, there are not books, anything, but I would go for travel and music, yes.
Super. So since you've chosen music now, I will change my question. Your idea of cheer, would that be a good movie? Would that be a lonely night at home into your blanket? Or would that be an outing with girls where we can also possibly join
Outing
in?
with girls.
Oh, great. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That was truly sharp, sincere, and authentic, just exactly like what Vibe stands for. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being such a wonderful spirit on the rapid fire as well. So, over to you, Kavita, for the closing.
Yeah. So it has been amazing listening to you and your insights and the things you mentioned today about labs all over and how one person can, go out and reach to those areas and make it more accessible. So, as we close today's Vibe Hexalog, one thing stands out to me, and there's always another step to climb. This is what my takeaway for today has been from what Dr. Anita has
Yeah.
mentioned. I would like to ask my founders as well as to what they have taken home today, like Dr. Latika.
So I like that you said just chill, do not reply instantly. Just take a moment, calm yourself, and then think about what to rationally reply rather than just, replying in the moment. That is so nice. Of course, there were many more takeaways, but this is what worked for me. Dr. Pranjali?
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, absolutely. There are many takeaways today, but yes, wait for a day, relax, and then you reply. That was one takeaway. And another one was never say no. So that is amazing, and that will help us to grow and go ahead in life. Definitely. Over to you, Dr. Rukia.
Ma'am, so many. I have a page full of things written about what we have chatted here, but Never Say No is definitely the title for today's episode. But what I'm going to learn from you is be punctual, be regular, come 5 minutes early, just get yourself collected, and even at the end of the day take that 5 minute before you just rush back. So you're always rushing in and rushing out, so that 5 minutes, I think I will start doing that. And yes, that was great. And taking time to reply, yeah, I think we're just so instant in answering immediately, so that will help us. Thank you, ma'am. Ritu.
I think again, my colleagues, ma'am, have already said how inspired you have left us today. For me, there are two things which I'll bring up. One is, of course, own the space, which clearly you've done today. The way you came, you were mesmerizing each one of us, and I'm sure the audience as well. So I think owning our space is very important, of understanding and sincerely contributing towards it. And the other thing which I liked is ask. The moment you feel that there is something that you want to know more, it could be something you don't know of, it could be something you have a query about, and you have a right to ask. We have a right to speak. So I think that is something, whether it's asking help, whether it's asking for information, whether it's asking for learning, I think the ask itself is a very big learning for us as well. We should continue to learn, and for which asking is important.
And what I like what she said is you should not be satisfied with where you are, and we should
Yes,
always keep striving for more.
keep growing.
Yeah, thank you
Wonderful.
very so much.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Anita, for sharing not just your insights but inspiration, and heartfelt thanks to our panel. So, I would like to end and ask Dr. Anita what her thought for today was about all this that she's been through today with us.
I think women are very inspirational. They are amazing and they are able to achieve everything. And I think we've achieved that. So this is girl power to its highest and furthest. And all the best for you. I'm always available if you need to ask any queries. So please feel free. And that's to women power.
Wonderful. Thank you.
That's
Yes,
to
there's
vibes.
one last thing. Thank you very much. There's one last thing that we say the vibe after 3, 2, 1 and point to the camera. So we take a picture for remembrance. Okay. So let's go. 3, 2, 1. Be the
Be the
vibe.
The
vibe.
vibe.
Thank you
Super.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
ma'am. And
much.
Happy
And
New
a
Year to
very
you
happy
as well as
New
all of
Year
them.
to
Thank
you
you.
and
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 everyone.
Happy New
Happy New
Year
Year.
to everyone.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year, girls.
Yes.
Yes,
All
keep
right.
vibing.
Bye, guys.
And a happy, successful completion of 2025 with
Yes.
all the goals that we have attained, all the challenges that we have overcome, and looking
Well done.
forward to 2026.
Well
Absolutely.
done.
To be
Well done.
Happy
so
New Year
Happy
2026,
New Year.
girls. So proud of
Happy
you.
New